Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Mother, hold our hand, take us across from unreal to real, from darkness of ignorance to the light of the wisdom. Take us from death to immortality. Om peace, peace, peace. Jai Guru. Welcome, dear devotees, on our Thursday short session leading towards the Sunday session. Coming up today, I want you to reflect upon the intense amount of the work that our spiritual leaders have left behind us. We are aware of it, we little bit about it. And we also read a lot and we reflect also a lot. But really, do we think and let it soak into us that what exactly is that work and what exactly is that Bharat or India? India is racing ahead today. Chapter 2, verse 31, Bhagavad Gita, God talks with Arjuna Paramahamsa Yogananda. Chapter 2, verse 31, page 246. Paramahamsa Yogananda is referring to, in that page, in 5th paragraph, that World Religion Authority, Houston Smith. Houston Smith is a great religious authority. He's no more. About 3 years ago, he left his body. But his book on world religion is considered today the book in all the American, and I am lucky to have one too. And the first chapter of that book is on Hinduism and says, in which he's talking about, Houston Smith is talking about that Hinduism is one which says that whatever you want through this religion, you can get it. Meaning, this is the power of the ancient Hindu religion, is Bharat. Bha is Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is that supreme consciousness, the light of the light. And Rata, Bharatiya, you and I are Bharatiya, no? It means those who are immersed in that light. And I thought about reflecting upon it. And as I thought about it, how am I going to start about it? I remembered that famous sloka in Isha Upanishad. Purnamada Purnamedam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya. That Purnam, from which if you take away Purnam, generally if you take away some water from a glass of water, half water is left, other half is taken away. But he says, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. When you take away Purnam, Purnam alone remains. This is Bharat. This is the rich heritage of India. And in which our ancient leaders like 1893 Swami Vivekananda went off to Chicago World Conference, 11th of September, gave a talk, and in which series of talks he took the India's ancient Upanishads and Vedanta to the Western world. And he's called by Philip Goldberg in the book called American Veda. I must have shared with you. I'm lucky to have that book, in which Philip Goldberg is calling American Veda, in which that he is the first guru of America, Swami Vivekananda, and in which Vivekananda is talking about that in my whole life he lived for 39 years, as you all know. He said, my whole life can be summarized in just 2 sentences. And I wish to share with you one of those sentences today. While I'm narrating both of them, he says that preach into the mankind their inner divinity. In other words, preach, meaning tell, teach everyone, show it to them about their power within them, inner divinity. Every one of us should realize that we are not this little body. We are not this little mind, little name, little form, a gender, a role that you and I play, whether the boss or a junior or a husband or a wife or a daughter or a son, whatever. It is not that role. That the body, name, form, function plays the role. But there is something else within you, which is Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Visheshyate. Purnam alone will remain if you only realize this. And second sentence, Vivekananda says that oneness in this whole universe, meaning we are all one. How can it be? And what did he mean by that? Just think. We all are different name, body, function, gender, color, country, color of the skin, height, length, width, muscle, weak, fat, thin. How can we be one? And this is that oneness I thought about today, that we will deal today and this Sunday. And let's see how it goes along. Maybe we will take it on a little more. So today in this third session, I wish to plant a little seed into this oneness. Oneness is not Advaita. Why? Though it leads to that. What is Advaita? Advaita means in which Dvaita is not there. It's a negative word. Advaita. In Hindi, जिसमें द्वैत नहीं है. In Advaita is which doesn't have Dvaita, duality. Which doesn't have duality is Advaita. But oneness, when you talk about it, because in Advaita Vedanta, when you talk about Advaita, you say Ekam Eva Advaita. You don't just say Advaita. Many people say it though, because we have not truly understand. Ekam Eva Advaita. Ekam, one, and Eva, and Advaita. One in and Advaita. Meaning that one, it is mean the field, Adhisthana, in which Dvaitavad doesn't exist. Not Advaita only. Advaita is negative word. In which Dvaita doesn't exist. Understand it. It is that which is important. Field which is important. Ekam which is important. Not just Advaita. Are you with me now? Reflect upon it. It is Ekam in which there is no Dvaita. In other words, all of us are Ekam. Understand it. In the last week I had talked about it. You're standing in front of a mirror. Samsara comes in. What do you mean? The moment you put a name and a form on yourself, you stand separate from everybody else. I am Robbin Ghosh. I'm separate from everybody else. I am Robbin Ghosh. This is ego. Ego is identity, not just ego. It's identity. You get the point? When I stand in front of the mirror, I see my image. Have you ever reflected that face which is reflected in the mirror is not the face. It's the image of the face. Now, reflect upon it. If I remove the mirror, image vanishes. Will the face vanish? No. But now look, if I take away the face, image will vanish. So, this face is the Ekam. Eva Advaitam. That face alone. The moment you bring face with the mirror and with the image, you are in samsara. Did you understand that? In other words, the moment you are in reflective consciousness, remember consciousness reflecting on the mind reflecting, powering with that consciousness power, powering the brain powers the senses, and with the senses we grab the world and bring it back into the brain, and through the brain into the mind, and this is mind is called the reflective consciousness. But consciousness is not affected at all. It is like the picture that you see in the TV screen. TV screen is the screen, right? In which the picture is playing. Without the TV screen, picture cannot play. Without the consciousness, you and I cannot exist. But TV screen is not bothered what play is going inside, whether horror movie or pterodactyl, T-Rex or Jurassic Park or a love scene, it is not bothered. If the TV is switched off, screen is still there. If you and I leave our body and go away, that consciousness will continue to remain in this world. This is Ekam Advaitam. This is called oneness. This is what Vivekananda talked about. That oneness, living in oneness in this universe. All of us should think that it's something beautiful, a statement. It can only happen when we perceive this whole universe in which two things always exist. Always exist. One, when you open your eyes, you see the world, this earth, this nature, this universe. It exists. And when you see that oneness in that universe, meaning everything has got one consciousness. This is Ekam Eva Advaitam. And when you open your eyes or close your eyes, when you feel, second is you. You always exist. See, we have trouble with the called faith of religion. You say, I don't have faith. I don't have any trouble. I have faith. Yes, you have faith, but have you noticed? Sam Harris, Richard Dickens, it is all this militant atheist of the world. Henry Higgins, Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris. It will be very difficult for you to prove it to them about your faith. Have you realized that the toughest trouble in the faith-based religion is what? Proving existence of God. But notice here, two things will give you that oneness. One, if this universe exists, and two, you exist. And this is what is Advaita Vedanta says, Aham Brahmasmi. I am the Brahma. Are you with me now? Let's make it very simple. Oneness. Now, Ekam Eva, that means I'm not repeating, but making it clear. Buddhism is also Advaita, but in which they again say, in that Advaita is Shunyavad, meaning where Dvaita doesn't exist. They also say Advaita in which Dvaita doesn't exist. Right? Whereas in Ekam Eva Advaita, in Advaitavad, in Vedanta, it is not talking about, it is the same as Buddhism Advaita, it is not. Because in Hinduism, Ekam Eva Advaita, what is it talking about is the field, that is that field, Adhisthana, in which there is no Dvaita exist. That life, that oneness, and this is what Vivekananda talked about. Show it to the mankind, tell it to them, preach into them, that divinity which is within them. And that divinity has got nothing to do with the body, mind, name, form, function. It is something which always existed. Like in this light, you all will come in and you all will go out. Light will stay. Body, mind, name, form, function will take birth, will live, and eventually will die. The body will die. Name, mind, form, function as per Vedanta will make out a globule like a balloon and will rest for a while and then choose once again as per reincarnation theory another parent in which through which as per its karma phal, sanskar to evolve itself to reach that oneness. And once you and I reach that oneness, we are Buddha, the one who knows. What does he know? That oneness which exists everywhere. This oneness. So today's topic is living oneness. This oneness, Advaitavad, we talk about it, no? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Right? Now, Shravanam, listening, Mananam, reflect, ask question, read some more, research some more, and Nididhyasanam, meditate on it. Right? This is apparently something to do with thinking, something to do with the mind, something to do with the brain, something to do with the asking question. But ekam eva advaitam is not that. It is you have to live that. Let me tell you a little story. And this story I heard from Pranavananda Chaitanya Puri, who is having a dialogue with Swami Sarvapriyananda, and in which he is referring to this Swami who was living in Banaras, and this Pranavananda Puri, he happened to be a disciple of that, and he used to call this senior Rishi Gurudev, and he was very kind-hearted, the Gurudev, to all these youngsters, Pranavananda, etc., were young brahmachari, and he would always take care of them when nobody took care of anyone. Monks there in Banaras, there were thousands, and he would give them books, some money, some food, and something like that. And he was very kind. And Ramananda sharing that towards the end of it, 6 months before he left his body, he was so pious, he will not do anything in the morning. He will go take bath and come down and first do that Shiva Darshan, Vishwanath, and then only he will start his day. He was very spiritual, this Gurudev. And he was highly respected. But 6 months before he was to leave the body, suddenly he became totally an atheist, like Sam Harris, right? Richard Dawkins. He totally became an atheist. And all the disciples around, they were highly surprised. What happened to him? And then eventually he wanted to leave Banaras and go away. But he couldn't leave Banaras and go away. Eventually he died in Banaras only. And as you know, in Hinduism it is said, in India we know, that anybody who dies in Banaras will attain moksha. Just dying there itself will be enough. So any one of you who's interested in attaining moksha, you can come down towards the end part of your life and live in Banaras. Easy way to attain moksha, no? Think. So this young monk, Pranavananda Puri, he goes out and tells somebody else who was another monk, who was a doctor monk. He was a doctor and a monk, and he goes to the doctor monk and he's sharing the young Pranavananda saying, so why did this happen? He was such a wonderful person, almost 30, 40 years. For generations he taught. He was a Nyaya Shastra, he was a Vedantist, and suddenly he turned into totally an atheist. Why did it happen? Young brahmachari was surprised. And the doctor scientist said, I would give you another angle. Notice, possibly, you remember in 13th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, it is Krishna is telling Arjuna, Amanittam Anadittam. Meaning, it should not be dikhawa, it should not be for showing, it should be sincere. So maybe he lived outside peripheral, very kind, very nice, very spiritual, very religious, but inside he was empty. And possibly, this Gurudev who left his body didn't even know it, didn't even realize it. And that's how he came up, because he did not live oneness. So we are going to talk about living oneness. I'll give you one more example. The same Pranavananda Puri is saying, recently he's very much there, young guy. He went to Rajasthan and he was invited for inauguration of one ashrama. He went to the ashram and he found one young brahmachari. His face radiated peace, joy, ananda, very calm. He's sitting quietly at one place. Whoever is telling whatever, he's ready to do it, and very collected and calm. To such an extent that he's a visiting chief guest. He went down and sat down with this young brahmachari. And he said, "Tell me, what is your secret? You seem to be in great peace, great joy, great ananda." The young brahmachari said, "Maharaj, I have not studied in my life very much. हम ज़्यादा पढ़े लिखे नहीं हैं. But I have had some great company and company of a holy people. I have learned only three things. Number one," he said, "I have learned never hate anyone. Don't hate anybody. Number two," he said, "I learned not to feel that I am a great person, I'm better than this guy and that guy or that guy. That I am, दूसरे से श्रेष्ठ नहीं है. I'm not better than them. So I don't hate anyone. I don't feel I'm better than anyone. And third," he says, "if you can, I learned that if I can, I should help someone. If it is possible within me, I should help someone." He said, "These three things have given me tremendous strength and I am very peaceful." And this Pranavananda Puri is saying, this is called living oneness. This is called living Advaita. So understand that our journey in Advaitavad, which is Vivekananda is talking about, that express the divinity from within. That divinity is within us. And you and I know, being an Advaita student today, that it is the consciousness alone. Without that consciousness, we don't exist. Remember the famous example that you're having a holiday in an oceanic land, an island or a beach, and you're having fun with your friends, your family, and I happen to come there. And I ask you, beautiful waves, wonderful, you're enjoying, aren't you? And you all smile and politely say, "Yes, we're beautiful waves." I say, "Waves of wonderful water in it, isn't it?" And you all say, "Yes." I say, "You know what? As per Vedanta, it is not true." You say, "What do you mean not true? Waves don't have water." I'm trying to elucidate this point of living oneness. Maybe some of you have heard this from me before. I say, "What waves? Even ocean doesn't have water in it." You say, "Come on, shut up. Ocean doesn't have water, then what does it have?" So I show you this glass. This glass has water in it, correct? I can separate the water and separate the glass. So now one glass full of water will become two objects. One empty glass, one water, correct? Think now. Can I separate the water from the wave? And if I do, will the wave persist? Will the wave be there? No. Can I separate the water from the ocean? Will the ocean be there? No. Water alone has chosen to be the ocean, to be the wave, to be the bubble, to be the froth, to be the moisture, to be the cloud, to be the rain, to be the dirty puddle on the street or the waterfall, the water alone, the consciousness alone, Ekam Advaitam, which is Ishvara, has chosen to be you, to be me, to have different forms and gender and function and age. Ekam eva advaitam. This is what it means. Purnamada Purnamidam. Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Purnameva Vashishyate. Come, we'll have a great session on Sunday. Come, send your questions if you have any. You're always welcome to call, to be present on Sunday. We look forward to seeing you. Jai Guru.